Back up, buddy. Back, back. Come on, my little guinea pig. Okay, good boy. Okay, so hi everybody. I've been seeing a lot of questions on this app of how do I train a baby horse? How do I deal with having a horse that has not been started? This is the third baby that I have had in the last 5 years now, and been pretty successful at just like having really good ground manners on them. I've only got one that's old enough to ride at this point, but he's done really well. So I figured I'd just walk you guys through the process that I take with my babies. I'm not a professional horse trainer. I do it myself as an amateur. I reach out to professional trainers when I do need help or get stuck, which I highly recommend that everybody does. But I just decided to make a few videos on what I do so that if it helps somebody that is trying to learn, then that's great. So the number one thing that I think you need to do with babies, whether you get them when they're still on the mare, whether they're freshly weaned, whether you get a yearling, whatever age the baby, the horse is, they need to be comfortable with you touching them all over before you really do anything else. When they're babies, you really have the upper hand. You can manhandle them a little bit more if you need to. They're a lot smaller. It's a lot easier to get basic ground manners accomplished when you are dealing with something that only weighs a couple hundred pounds versus 1,000. So this is Jet. He's 8 months old, and we actually foaled him out with his mom. So he's very used to all of this. But the very first thing that we did when he was born, all the months after, is just making sure that we're touching him all over all the time. Made sure we got his ears, his neck, his back, his legs, so that I can move around this horse and touch him anywhere and have him not be concerned about it. One of the best ways to do this, if you have a baby that has not had much touching, they're probably going to be a little bit more flighty, especially if they haven't had a lot of hands-on time before you get them. I like to do it loose if they are babies and they haven't been halter broke yet. Just getting up and touching them, and then using one of these rubber curry combs. These are nice, and they're like good scratchers, and I think that they are a little less ticklish than like a bristle brush. So that's why I use them when I first go to get a horse used to being touched. So if this were a baby that was a little bit feral, didn't want to be touched, and I put the brush on him and he wanted to kind of like move away, I can kind of step like this, not directly in front of him because they can still run you over, but give him a little bit of support with your arm and the neck here. And if he wanted to walk around in a circle, that would be okay. Might get a little bit nervous, but just keep that pressure on with the curry comb until he stops. And then you'd want him to wait, stop for a second, and then after he was quiet for a minute, stood still with the curry comb, that's when you would back away, because that's his release. That's you telling him that he did what you were asking, which is just simply stand there while I scratch you. As you can see, this horse loves to be scratched, so he's not going to do that. But it is a really important thing. And so before we get into any sort of like leading or tying, anything like that, I just think that that was a really important thing to cover. You need to be able to touch their legs, touch their feet, and you just want to be careful. I think the body is a great place to start, body and face. And you kind of work down to the legs as they get more and more comfortable. Legs typically, I would say, are where they're more sensitive about being touched, but it is absolutely crucially important that you can touch a horse's legs for the vet, for the sake of the farrier, for all of it. And he's going to walk away, but that's okay because we're mostly done with him. But it is super important that your horse will stand there while you touch its legs. You need to be able to get proper feet care done. Even when they're babies, they typically do need to have their feet trimmed after the first few months or so. And so it's just really important that you create a safe horse, and it's much easier to do it at the foundational stages when they're young. So I encourage anybody with babies to handle them daily. It doesn't take a lot of time. Like when he was little, we'd probably spend anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes a day just kind of touching him. We'd turn him out with mom, touch him before he went out, touch him again when he came in, all over. Learn that we can grab his legs, and that's okay. He definitely used to kick a little bit, and very common that most babies do. And the most important thing is just continuing to grab the leg until they stop kicking. And I'll show you, he doesn't do it much anymore, but if he I'll try to pick up his feet a few times. Sometimes he'll pull back on it a little bit so I can show you what I mean. But just really important to do this like very basic handling when they're little so that you're not fighting these like more flighty and reactionary responses that they're going to naturally have when they weigh 1,000 pounds. So that is where I start all of my babies.